Sarah with People for Bikes. Thanks for joining us in this series as we share ways your community can make biking better for everyone. During the pandemic, cities everywhere recognized the need for outdoor spaces where people could recreate safely. Many interventions, though, were carried out with little or no public participation. In fact, only 58% of American cities asked for public feedback before launching any measures, which in some places led to vocal opposition. In those cases, a lack of community engagement jeopardized the success of these projects. In April 2020, Oakland launched Slow Streets as part of the city's response to COVID-19. By discouraging through traffic on certain thoroughfares, the program was intended to support safe physical activity and alleviate overcrowding in parks and on trails. However, the initial rollout faced some backlash, especially from Black East Oakland residents. Based on community feedback, the city was able to pivot and create the Essential Places Initiative, aimed at supporting residents' safe access to key services such as grocery stores, food distribution sites, and COVID-19 testing sites. To learn about the importance of consistent community engagement throughout all of these projects, we spoke with Warren Logan, Policy Director of Mobility and Interagency Relations at the Oakland Mayor's Office.
In response to so many different variables about COVID, we launched the Slow Streets program. On day one, people were very excited about it. And then day two, almost literally day two, we recognized that we had fallen into the same error that so many city planners and really government types fall into, which is that we held on to this belief that because we had engaged just the year prior, everything would be fine about Slow Streets and that we didn't need to then come back to the community again and again to have the conversation. Of course, looking back, like that was wrong. And we've apologized for that a number of times to go back and not do that. I wouldn't say that I would, right? I would still launch Slow Streets the same way that we did because, one, it opened up a conversation about that we had misunderstood what the community wanted than a year prior about neighborhood bikeways, that they wanted more than just traffic calming, right? They also wanted, again, programs even in their neighborhoods. The second element, though, is that we would have never had the opportunity, I think, to launch then Essential Places, which was the outgrowth of Slow Streets, where we partnered again with community-based organizations. They identified a series of hotspots, grocery stores, cleaners, clinics, markets that they have trouble getting to, and then help them literally cross the street. We were able to co-create a design with the community and then keep iterating on it ever so slightly week after week. We'd meet on a Wednesday, we'd launch on a Friday. Then we'd meet again the next Wednesday and say, how did that go? Okay, let's improve a little bit. Let's try a different spot.
Key partners might include nonprofits and community organizations that have already built trust. These partnerships invite creativity and allow cities to be bold when it comes to testing new ideas, responding in a timely manner, and enacting short-term pilots that play into a long-term vision. We spoke with Marquita Price, Director of Urban and Regional Planning at the East Oakland Collective, about how interagency collaboration was key to the city's response to COVID-19.
It's really important to involve community on a peer level and compensate them, making sure that they're at the table or allowing them to create the table because they are the experts of their community. They know the neighborhood, they're experiencing it every day firsthand. And so, yes, they are definitely valuable. And our goals is to better educate community to make them more aware of their power as residents and that, yes, that they have this power and that, together and kind of organize and we can demand the kind of cities and neighborhoods that we want. Sometimes we just get out in the field and just talk to people. We really heavily believe in meeting people where they're at. So that's ultimately why we think that it's important to really embrace non-traditional settings of meeting places because, you got to meet the folks where they're at so that they can feel comfortable.
Moving online has made participating in things like town halls and planning meetings more convenient, in some cases drawing in more residents. but it can also pose additional challenges for those without adequate technology. To learn more, we again spoke with Warren Logan with the Oakland Mayor's Office.
Just the fact that we are now allowing public meetings through Zoom opens up a brand new avenue for people who are like, I'm in the middle of cooking dinner, or I'm hanging out with my kids, or I just don't want to travel down to City Hall or to wherever. The other part too, though, is that people already struggle to travel throughout our city to begin with. So to have a conversation with community groups in one location, right, forcing them to go to a location that might be hard to reach in the first place, to then talk about how hard it is to travel around the city is kind of ironic, right? So allowing people to be in disparate locations to talk about the same thing, the same subject at the same time is really helpful. We launched a text-based service where we put up short codes around the city to ask people their opinions about Slow Streets, or our Flex Streets program, which is for the parklets and street closures for businesses. We also ask people their opinions about murals and about traffic safety. And all you got to do is you text, 35835, I think was actually our short code. And it would ask you one question at a time, SMS-based text messaging. And that's really cool because while a lot of people may not have the internet or fast internet, what they do have is SMS-based text messaging. So I think that there has to be a balance there, and finding both the technology and then that balance with perhaps in-person communication is going to be really critical as we exit COVID.
As city leaders, we need to be listening to those who are directly impacted by our work. In order to do that, we have to continuously engage with residents throughout the lifespan of our projects. As we move forward and work to build thriving bike communities, we must amplify the diverse voices that call our cities home. If we don't, we risk wasting funds and possibly perpetuating systemic inequity. Thank you for joining us as we looked at one of the ways your city can make bicycling better. Visit our Advocacy Academy website for more videos and other resources that'll improve the health, livelihood, and future of our streets, cities, and planet. Together, let's create a better world through bikes.